Hello, Math 1 students. This lesson's on 8.8, which is I can identify an arithmetic sequence and write an explicit rule for this sequence. Now, before we get started, you have to understand what a sequence is, and then even further, what an arithmetic sequence is. So to start, a sequence is basically an ordered list of numbers that have a common pattern. So when I look at an example of it would just be, counting by twos, right? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. That would be a sequence, right? But it could also take it a step further and just take my counting numbers and raise them to the second power, right? 1 squared is 1, 2 squared is 4, right? 3 squared is 9, 4 squared is 16. This would be a different type of sequence, right? But if you notice, it has a common pattern. Now, an arithmetic sequence is basically a sequence, right, where the difference between one term and the next term is constant, right? In basically simple terms, right, we add or subtract the same value each time. And we always, in a sequence, we always start with term number 1. So when we look at an arithmetic sequence, what you have to notice here is A is always going to be our first term. So we always start with A. But then what happens is we're going to add some amount to A. So we're going to add D. And D is the amount we add or subtract, right, to the first term. But then we keep adding D. So right now it's going to be the first term plus 2 D's, then the first term plus 3 D's. And this sequence will continue. Now, we actually have a special name for that D, and the special name for D is a common difference. This is what we're considering D up there. And it's the difference between each term, or, again, in simple terms, the amount you add or subtract to each term to get the next term. So let's look at some examples here. Determine if the sequences are arithmetic. If yes, identify the first term and the common difference. So right away, what we're looking for is, if I look at 4, 9, 14, 19, 24, 29, if I go start at the first term, what do I go up here? I go up 5 here. 9 to 14 is going up 5. I go up 5. So right away, since I'm adding the same amount each time, it is arithmetic. Now the first term is going to be 4. And my common difference is, how much am I adding each time? I'm adding 5, so my common difference is 5. Example 2, right? If I look, I'm going from 5 to negative 10, 15 to negative 20, and negative 20 to 25. If you really think about it, here I'm going down 15, up 25. This would be, what is that, down 35? Right? I'm not adding or subtracting the same amount. So right away, the arithmetic, it would not be an arithmetic sequence. So number 3, okay, if I look at number 3, I start with 24. So I start at 24, I go to 23. So I'm down 3, down 3, down 3, and so on. So yes, this is arithmetic. My first term would be 27, and my common difference would be negative 3. Okay, and then the last one here. From negative 16 to negative 22, you got to remember I'm going backwards, so I'm going down 6. Here, from negative 22 to negative 28, going down 6 again. So each time I'm going down 6 here. So yes, it's arithmetic. My first term is negative 16, and my common difference is negative 6. So now, it says here, if you're given the first term and the common difference, find the first 4 terms of the sequence. Well, if my first term is 8, I'm going to start with 8, and to find the first 4, which in this case I have to find 3 more, my common difference is 2. It tells me I'm going to add 2 each time. So 8 plus 2 would give me 10, plus 2 would give me 12, and then if I add another 2, that would give me 14. So the first 4 terms would be 8, 10, 12, and 14. If I start with the first term of 40 and my common difference is negative 10, I'm going to go ahead and subtract 10. So I start with 40, minus 10 is 30, minus 10 is 20, minus 10 is 10. Then, example 7, first term is negative 10. My common difference is 5, so I'm going to add 5. So negative 10 plus 5 is going to be negative 5. Plus 5 is going to give me 0. And then plus 5 would give me 5. Okay, so all I could do in the calculator is just start with negative 10, hit plus 5, plus 5, plus 5. Then example 8, starting with negative 3. Now when I go down 9, negative 3 minus 9 would be negative 12. Then I'm going to do negative 12 minus 9, which is negative 21. Then I'm going to take negative 21, subtract 9, I get negative 30. And that would be the first 4 terms of that sequence. So understanding how to recognize an arithmetic sequence, right, is critical. Number 9, if the first 2 terms of a sequence are 16 and 12, so we have 16 and then we have 12, they want us to find the 6th term. Well, the first thing we have to do is use the first 2 terms to find the common difference. So what did I do here? Did I go up or did I go down? From 16 to 12, I went down 4. So what I could basically do then is continue this pattern, right? 12 minus 4 would be 8. 8 minus 4 would be 4. 4 minus 4 would be 0. And then negative 4. So here's the first term, second term, third term, fourth term, fifth term. Your 6th term would be negative 4. And if I had to use a function rule now, right? I'm going to use a function rule, f of x equals 3x minus 2, to find the first 5 terms of a sequence. So all I'm going to do is evaluate this function at 1, at 2, at 3, at 4, and then at 5. So f of 1, 3 times 1 minus 2, is going to give me 1. So the first term is 1. F of 2, 3 times 2 minus 2 gives you 6 minus 2, which is 4. F of 3, 3 times 3 minus 2 gives you 9 minus 2, which is 7. Then f of 4 would be 3 times 4 minus 2, which is 12 minus 2, which gives you 10. And, oops, the last one, f of 5. 3 times 5 minus 2 will give you 15 minus 2, which is 13. And right away, that would be the first 5 terms of that sequence. Now, if you're given a function rule, right, f of x equals negative 7x plus 9, and they ask you to find the 15th term. Guys, do not use this function rule and go f of 1 all the way up to f of 15. If you look, the first term, right, of a sequence is just f of 1. Therefore, the 15th term, all I'm going to do is evaluate f of 15. Negative 7 times 15 plus 9 tells me the 15th term of this sequence would be negative 96. So do me a favor and go ahead and do the student practice and let us know if you have questions.